Today on Studio Space, we're talking with painter and costume designer Micki Flatmo. Let's go in her studio and see how she makes her amazing creations.
It was always about putting it out in the world, you know, and I care and always have cared about whether or not people enjoy my work, and I work hard at it because I want people to see something in it.
Hi, Micki. Thank you so much for inviting us into your studio.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for being here. It's fun.
There's a lot to talk about. But let me just ask you first, what do you do? What is your art form?
Right now, I've been through lots of different incarnations in my lifetime as an artist. I've always made things, done paintings, drawings. It's been a progression now for, you know, close to 50 years actually of creating. And so over those years, things have come and gone and interests have, you know, peaked and waned. And right now, I am really involved with costume design. It's only been happening for about the last professionally for about the last 3 years. But started probably 30 years ago with the kinetic sculpture race and putting all this stuff together, making masks. Dwayne and I, we've been together for 40 years now, just about, and our very first date was mask making. And so costume design has been a part of my life and our lives, you know, for a long time now. I was contacted by the North Coast Dance Company to design costumes for their Nutcracker Ballet. They needed new costumes.
Oh.
Yeah, so the Mother Ginger, and then I did the new Rat King and Queen and made their masks. It's been an absolute joy to do that. I've really had fun doing that. And I have a really great team of seamstresses. That costume design shop is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I get to do all of the designs, choose all of the fabrics. I tell them where the fabrics are gonna go, how it's all supposed to work together, and then they just do what I ask.
Ooh.
It's just crazy wonderful. And they are brilliant. They're great seamstresses. There was no challenge. I have thrown them some serious challenges,
Yeah.
and they have risen beyond my expectations, honestly. I do the things that they can't do, which are I make the wigs, I design the wigs, I do all of the jewelry and the necklaces, and I flesh out the character, you know, with metal and jewelry and all that kind of stuff, and the designs that are native to me and that work for the costumes. So I have my own section that I get to do all my own, but I also get to, you know, design them and then help them bring those into the world. So super fun.
That sounds super fun.
It is.
Especially working with somebody who has the skills to bring your vision into reality.
Yeah.
Oh, and then to put it on a dancer who isn't just going to bring it to life.
Yeah.
It just to be this living, breathing, dancing thing.
Yes, and the costume has to move, and I've been making my own costumes for years, but the Burning Man costumes that I've done, I wear them myself. Mm-hmm. And I've worn all of these costumes. These are my costumes. And so I know that they fit well. I know that they're super comfortable. Mm-hmm. I know they're not going to come apart, and nothing's poking me, you know. And so all of that translated really easily into making costumes for the ballet, because my costumes also, you know, they wear a lot of corsets. They're fitted. There's a lot of areas that could go wrong, but because I wear them myself, you know, I've resolved those issues, and it goes directly into me keeping those dancers comfortable and moving.
Okay, how's the whipped cream?
Is there anything else unexpected about creating for the theater? Anything else that took you by surprise?
Well, you have to say something. And it's got to read the way you want it to read from 35 or 40 feet. So the costumes have all got to be strong design. You know, each element, if you need that element to stay away, to stand out, it's got to have contrast. It has to be bold. And so everything is built larger and designed bigger than you think it would be. The thing that crossed over so easily was that in painting, you have all of these different tools that you use, you know, to hold the viewer's eye, you know, to lead their eye around the canvas, to tell them the story, contrast and color, and all of those elements. It's the same here. It's the very same here. You use those elements of good design to make the costume work and read at 30 or 40 feet.
And did you work with the set designer and the lighting folks? Because of course you're putting it on a person, but then that person is in front of a piece of art, which is the set.
Well, I actually designed the set.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll work.
Yeah. So ballet doesn't use a lot of sets. They use a few things. It's mostly just about the dance and backdrops and that kind of a thing. But in the Arkley Theater, they do something which I think is completely wonderful, which is they have a scene in the Nutcracker that includes, you know, 24 to 30 people on average every year. Those are all the kids that take dance classes, or the parents that come in. There's 30 or 40 people who are not professional dancers, who aren't studying ballet.
The party scene, right?
The party scene is part of it, but the Mother Ginger scene turned into that with the pie. And so there are soloists, and they sprinkle in a few of the dancers who are trained, but by and large, that scene is for everybody. And the idea was that Mother Ginger was a baker, and she has a lovely bakery, and all of the kids from the neighborhood and the parents come in and they all meet at the bakery. That was just absolutely the best. You know, and everybody feels good and looks beautiful, and they all get to be as important as these gorgeous dancers. You know, so really fun. Yeah.
So some of your stuff is for you for Burning Man. You've done work with the theater. I mean, you said some of these pieces are elsewhere. Where else have your costumes ended up?
Well, they just mostly the ones that I make. This one I wore to the Smithsonian for an art opening at the Smithsonian.
Right.
So
well,
that ended up there.
The piece that's in the Smithsonian is Dwayne's
dragon.
Dragon.
Yes,
and this has similar themes.
Yeah, it uses some of the same material. When I first started doing costume design for Burning Man, the Tin Pan Dragon was one of his main machines. And so I was just really kind of trying to make things that would coordinate and look really cool with the machines. And I fell in love with costume design at Burning Man because everybody wears something. I mean, you don't go looking like you just arrived from Mervyn's, right?
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of effort. People put a lot of effort and energy into costume design, and that for me was like, that's a great way I can participate in this without really needing to build a machine. I don't have to do a big art piece.
Sure.
I can just go along and play. It was just a great way to participate in Burning Man. And we look forward to it every year, changed our lives, and I get excited. It inspires me to keep making things. And now I have people from Burning Man who are asking me to do commission pieces for them for costumes for Burning Man.
Oh.
You know, COVID interrupted all of that idea, but we'll get back to it, you know, when everything starts to crank up again, because it's going to. So I'll be doing commission pieces for people at Burning Man. And then I have other ideas, things I'd like to do with costume design. I'd love to participate in the New Zealand World of Wearable Art Show. It's a global art competition for costume design. Fabulous. You just do everything on spec, and then it's a juried show, and you send it all to New Zealand and see if you get in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is there something about the actual medium, the actual process that you really enjoy?
About costume design?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things. Actually, after being a painter and drawer and draftsman for decades, I fell in love with beautiful fabrics. I've always liked beautiful fabrics, but to tell you the truth, it was how easy it was to make something that was wonderful. It was like, oh my God, you mean I don't have to draw this pattern? I can actually just go get that piece of fabulous fabric and put it together with this piece of fabulous fabric, and I'm on my way. And so it was a shortcut, it was easier, it was a simpler and more enjoyable process than having to laboriously draw, paint, everything.
That's really interesting. I would think it was more difficult because it's a three-dimensional thing.
Yeah.
And it's something that has to fit on a body.
That's
it
hard.
has to move.
Yeah,
And so there's
it is
that.
sculptural, and it is difficult to do that. It's humbling to make, to figure out how to make a costume and how to make it fit you. Other people spend their lifetime pattern makers, which I work with a really fine pattern maker that I met at the ballet, and that girl is a whiz, and I just love, what she does. I admire her. I try it. I do my own because I can't afford her. I can't afford to hire her to do all of my pattern making for me, and that's part of the creative process. Is just figuring it out. That's the fun of it, and you can make a lot of really weird stuff first. It's like nobody in their right mind would put this on and go outside. So I'm not either, Okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I really love working with the ballet, with the theater, because it's a community project. I spent years, decades alone in my studio making paintings, doing just by myself, day in, day out, and then take it to a gallery and have an opening, and it was always really fun, and I would meet people, but that would last for a day. That's a one-day event after a 1 year of prepping. And so you're working all the time by yourself. The collaborative effort that's come from costume design is absolutely a joy. It's an absolute joy. It's like working with musicians. It's like being a band. And, everybody plays their part, and then people come to enjoy what it is that you've made.
Do you think about the impact your art has on other people and their thoughts about it, or is it more just about getting it, your own thing out there?
Well, costume design-wise, it's all about other people seeing it, and dancing in it, and making presentations in it, and the audience enjoying it. So there's a huge component to being on stage and showing. It's a communicative effort. I've never been alone even in my secret life of day in and day out in the studio. It's always been about saying something that someone else is going to appreciate or see and enjoy. Maybe,
Well, I certainly enjoy it.
Oh, thank you.
And I've definitely enjoyed talking with you. Thank you so much for inviting us here. It's been really fascinating.
Thank you for coming. It's been a treat for me. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today on Studio Space.